with you. Good morning. It's our last day. Oh, can we do it another 3 or 4 days? Yes. Barry Cross, our program director, says, we do all this work and it's only 3 days. This is ridiculous. Next time we should do 5 or something. This is the vision, to keep growing it. I do want you to just take a second and notice it's Sunday morning of a very rich conference. We're getting a lot of feedback that people are experiencing a lot of wonderful things. And it's not over yet. We do have a day together. So just be here now. Come here. You can keep having the conference that you would like. If what you would like has shifted, that's great. If you haven't had it yet, there's still a whole day for you. During one of the constellation workshops I participated in yesterday, one moment that was important for one of the representatives was the phrase, "Yes, I am." Just feel that inside of you. Yes, I am. I went to Ed Tick's and John Bucknell's remarkable and very, very intense retreat yesterday for warriors, retreat for returning warriors. And one of the last movements in the retreat was the warriors amongst us. He redefines it so that people can keep owning that archetype for themselves. Not like they have to now drop it now that they've come home, right? They can own it and experience the transformation and say, I am a warrior, this is my path. I accept fully the hardships of this journey and of the choices I've made. And I commit to continue to be a warrior, to protect and serve and bring peace. Ed Tick says we all have the warrior archetype inside of us, but not all of us. That's not the primary archetype for all of us in the room. Mine's probably more the priest archetype. There's a bunch of them around the room. But whatever version it is for you, what does it mean to say, I chose this? I accept the hardships of path. And it is a blessing to me. Over the course of the last few days, people have been joking with James and me a little bit, saying, Mom and Dad, what are we doing next? Or, Dad, is there something, and we're like, oh. And it is a joke, we do understand. But I want us to think a little bit about it actually at another level. It has become common in some circles to talk about Bert Hellinger as our father, and in some circles, Sophie as our mother. I would like to ask us to stop doing this.
Thank you.
Bert Hellinger is our founder. And there's a deep honor in this. And James and I are the directors, and there's an honor in that. Right? Bert Hellinger, along with lots of other teachers, but I think in kind of a unique way, taught us something very important about mothers and fathers, is that each of us has one of both. That's it. You have a mother, you have a father. And some of us had difficult mothers and fathers, right? But the work of constellations and sometimes the healing of a lifetime is finding a way to take our mother and take our father. And some of us have really concluded that work, and others are just barely starting. But that's the way forward. And in taking our mothers and fathers, we become more ourselves. In some psychotherapeutic circles, it's called individuation, right? Becoming ourselves. The yes, I am. I accept the hardships of my path. I'd like to claim, given how richly immersed we have been in the last few days in the world news with veterans issues and Black Lives Matter and what happened in Paris the other day. And people on our own team are having things happen in their lives that weren't planned, that are touching to us. Must be true for a certain statistical number out there in the community. You've gotten some news this weekend, you're dealing with something. Our world and our community need us to do this, to take our mothers and our fathers, so that we can become ourselves and take our place as adults in the community of adults, called to protect the children, called to build and create. Yesterday, Ingela said, and I loved this, I loved how she put it, it was so beautiful. Constellations is not political work, but it is political work. Yeah? Political from polis, the city. It's the community. It's not political work in the sense of the way, we had another Democratic debate last night, which I heard a little bit about, but mostly I don't know what happened. We don't mean in that sense so much, although some of you are in political work and doing advocacy and that kind of thing. But even if you're not doing that, it's always political work. The other thing I noticed about Ingela's address last night, and then I'll bring my thoughts to a close here, is that she never said things like connecting, uniting. She always said reconnecting and reuniting and reconciling. Another thing that we learn in constellation work is that we as facilitators don't figure out how to get our clients to belong to their families again. We don't come up with some movement and they've been separated and now they belong, right? This is the big reframe for all of us and for our clients, which is that they always did. They always, if they got adopted out, if they traveled to Morocco and never came back, or they got rejected because they married the wrong person, or they loved in the wrong way, they always belong. So the work we're up to is resolving and revising the distorted love so that the love that's there can be seen and we can rediscover our belonging. This is really relevant for what we're going to talk about later in the last plenary, not now, but as we talk about what's next for the Constellation community. So I invite you to just kind of marinate in that a little bit for yourself personally. If you've had a really good time, we're going to be inviting you to participate going forward, because there's no mother or father of the Constellation community. There's no one who's going to come along and do that. As Jane said in the very beginning, we're the special sauce. So I invite you to just kind of hang out with that question a little bit, both in terms of your personal life and some of the ways in which it's really relevant to this gathering.